Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, August 5th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we were looking at OPEN, and this one is starting to come back to life again. Had a very good start to the week. If you watched the top 10 from Friday, then hopefully remember me talking about this wedge formation right here. And you can see the wedge actually got a little bit of a breakout right here. And then from there, that was basically the leading indicator as it really exploded today to get the move up to there. So overall, definitely a good solid start to the week. And I'll go ahead and get rid of those lines and we'll start afresh here. As we basically have another pattern that I talked about in Friday's video, another bull pennant. And just because something is bullish, as a just kind of a disclaimer right at the get-go, does not mean, I wish I could say trading was this easy, but just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But nonetheless, actually, let me zoom this out here because I think this is going to be more of an accurate trend line to keep an eye on. So keep an eye on that from more so the overarching level. And then in the near term, from as far as supports are concerned, we have that level right there. So let me change that to green. Let me just bring this in just so it's a little bit more, there we go, proportionate. And then just to make the overall pattern easier to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move right here for you golfers out there. Try to make it a little more visual. But the golf hole down here, we're looking at another bull pennant pattern. Again, just because something's bullish pattern doesn't mean it's going up. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price kind of consolidates here and then comes up there and breaks through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? Again, not a guarantee, but certainly a more than valid question to throw out there as a possibility. So if you like this price range of stocks down below $5, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one, BTBD. And overall, the chart's hanging in there, but there is a little perspective that makes this difficult. Meaning, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, or whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks really, really bad. But if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the bigger pullback here, the price does still ultimately have the opportunity to build a higher base. And again, from an overall standpoint, that's what it's all about. You want to see those higher bases being built moving forward. So I'm going to be talking about things from more of a bigger picture standpoint. So yes, to some of you that maybe bought right there, I will be sounding crazy calling some of this bullish. But again, I'm taking more so the bigger picture viewpoint of things. So as far as areas of support now are concerned, what happened to that? We'll get rid of that. But as far as areas of support are concerned, first level that right now the price does seem to be trying to consolidate out right there is $2.88. Now, even if the price doesn't hold above there, I would say the purple line is a much more important level because, again, big picture wise, if the price were to come down there and then consolidate before curling back upwards, from the overarching standpoint, you'd still have a set of lows here. You'd have those lows down there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, again, from the big picture point of view, you'd still have stair steps progressing in the upward direction, and that's what you want to have. Again, if you're a day trader, then yes, me talking about these levels seems to be totally irrelevant, and that they are from a day trader standpoint. That's why I'm trying to really hammer home. I'm trying to talk about things from more of a bigger picture viewpoint. If the price does try to bounce, key initial area of resistance seems to be right there around that 365 mark. But yeah, bigger pullback here, but again, to be fair, from the overarching standpoint, the price does still have the opportunity to build an overall higher base. Next one here, ATCH, and I like this one mainly for the reason of this dynamic right here. Very, very well-defined breakout point. So you got to think that a lot of people have drawn an area right there around 0.246, and that's the level that they're going to be watching for a potential breakout, and nothing fancy behind this logic at all other than the fact of that's where the price got rejected from. Opening 30 minutes got rejected from right there. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid? Is it plausible that if the price were to come up here and get the break up there, again, is it plausible to throw out the question that break right there could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. In terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate this. You can see down here, you have the purple line there, that 50-period moving average. You have the pink line here, that 200-period moving average. They're essentially valued at the same right now. So that's just going to be the key level of support. If the price were to come down here and then break down below it, again, I'm not saying this is what's going to occur, but If the price did that, well, all of a sudden you'd have the price having gone right back to where it was. And price movements that make great moves and then go back to where they were, not exactly the sign of genuine strength. So that's where, keep an eye on that. 0.186 is going to be important from the support side of things. Next one here, IXHL showed a little bit of improvement here, but overall, like I said, from the big picture point of view, the price is still down way further than where it was. But yes, to give credit where credit's due, from where it was at the lows on Friday to where it is right now from the lows right there. Again, if you envision those as stair-steps, there are some lows, stair-steps working in the upward direction. And that's where, in my mind, that's the big question mark. Can the price continue to build higher bases? Nothing needs, now, preferably speaking, of course, prices going straight up would be great, but that's not the reality of the situation. Nothing can go straight up. There are going to need to be consolidations. It's always just a question of, but are those consolidations building at higher levels? And that is why this stair step right here, very, very important moving forward. So let's actually just get a line in there as that key area of support, as that quote-unquote stair step. And that sits right there at the 41 cent mark. So 41 cents with the logic I just talked about previously, very important. Because if the price were to come down to 41 and then break below it, what do you have? Well, you have the price having gone right back to where it was, which, as we just talked about in the previous chart, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. In terms of levels of resistance, main battleground in my mind going to be right up here around that level of 46 cents. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, definitely showed some progress today to start off the week. Let's see if the price can continue to show progress by building those higher bases. Next one here, BBAI, very nice mover today, and I'm going to go through this one a little quicker because you've already heard me talk about this pattern, but we're looking at another bull pennant pattern, which, like I said, I know I talked about earlier, so I don't mean to go through it too quickly, but like I said, just want to make this as straightforward and honor your time as much as possible. So let's just keep this all one color to make sure everybody can see it. So there is our area of resistance. There is our area of support. There is a nice upwards move right there. Here's our golf hole down here. So we are looking at another bull pennant pattern. So keep it on this dynamic. And if you like this price range, certainly could throw it on the watch list, especially when BBAI has a track record of moving and moving quickly. So it's not one of those things where, I don't know, is this one of these stocks that can move quickly? No, this one is already proven. It can certainly get moving. Real quickly, I want to take a break and just make you aware of something that can maybe be a big solution to you. And that is for those of you that would like to be a day trader being defined as having unlimited day trades every single day. And I know with that pattern day trader rule, it's hard to do. But there is a market available to you where for a very small amount of money, you can see it at the top of the screen there, this entire video, but it allows you to become a day trader, again, having unlimited day trades, and you can trade in a market that's open 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. And quite frankly, it's a market that moves very, very nicely. And I understand if all of this sounds maybe a little bit too good to be true. Wait, $102 for 50K in buying power. But this is what I'm doing. And you can see it live if you want, because I have been live streaming every day starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're skeptical, I totally understand. But please swing by the live stream, ask me some questions, and I'd be happy to tell you more about it. But yes, if you are sick and tired of that pattern day trader rule, there is a way around it at a very cost-effective way. Next one here, ticker symbol NIO, and rough day today as things had been looking very strong with the price working its way up to this area. And then this morning, the gap down and bled quite a bit. And it's trying to hang around that pink line, which is important because that is the 200 period moving average. But the big dynamic moving forward is you don't want to see any sort of further separation below that pink line. The further the price goes below the pink line, if you just figure it's just as kind of like a courtroom, that is just evidence mounting against the bulls, just basically saying, hey, the bears are taking back over. So the sooner the price can get back above that pink line, the better. If the price does pull back even further, then, like I said, I don't want to call it a do or die level, but certainly a very, very important level of support would be right there around $4.48. So again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but if the price went down to that level and then broke even below there, that'd be a pretty big red flag. If there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the upwards direction, key area of resistance to watch will be that purple line right there, that 50 period simple moving average. But yeah, definitely a rough way to start off the week. Next one, CASI. And for this one, we're going to go very, very quickly because you've already heard me talk about this a couple of times. So let's just get this bull pennant mapped out because, yes, you're looking at a bull pennant pattern. And then just because I cannot help myself, let's keep it all the same color to make sure that everybody sees it. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice upwards move there, and then we have the golf hole down here. So this is one where if you enjoy the price range, try to keep it down around the $2 mark, dollar range, but you like bull pennants. CASI gives you a nice clean-cut bull pennant pattern. Next one here, JOBY, and same exact thing here. Have a very clean-cut area of resistance up here, so you got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line very similar to that. And then on the flip side of things, you have, I'm not going to quite call this a totally, textbook bull pennant pattern, but the general idea is the same. And that is that the price has made a huge surge. Now it's just doing some consolidating, tight consolidation range. But is this sort of move moving into the future? That's going to be the key dynamic here. So like I said, is this the most clean cut as what we just looked at with CASI? I'm not going to say that. But again, the general psychology, the general price movement is the exact same. Big surge up, now doing some consolidation. But I mean, it's actually pretty crazy. Tight little range here. So is this tight range prepping for another move to the upside? Grab your popcorn for Tuesday. Next one here, NVDA. Very, very nice start to the week. Not necessarily because it was so green, but from a technical standpoint, and I talked about this in Friday's video, but the price was sitting at a very, very important level. That level being that 200 period moving average, which did a good job ultimately of holding strong. So held strong on Friday, and then today got a very nice bounce off of it. So good to see that it's created some breathing room between where it's at and the pink line. And now moving forward in terms of what would make the chart look the strongest, ideally, if the price can stay above the purple line, that would be fantastic. Right now, valued at, we'll call it 177.70. But even if the price falls below there, not the end of the world, because you still would have that pink line down there, which we just talked about. So keep an eye on those couple of areas from the support side of things. And then in terms of areas of resistance moving forward, looking like the key battleground, initially now going to be right there around the 181.60 mark, which was basically the peaks of these couple of moves right there. But anyway, look at it. Very, very nice way to start the week. Very nice final 30 minutes. You can see as I speak, it's actually heading to even higher highs right now during the last 30 minutes. So we'll see if the momentum carries into Tuesday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And overall, good start to the week. And I want to try to simplify this a little bit. So let's get these lines out of here because the price is indeed making progress. But I realize me just saying making progress are just words. But that's why I love charts. They allow you to take words and make them very visual. So when I say progress, I think the best way to visualize that is let's just get that trend line in play. And moving forward, as long as the price stays above that line, well, then by definition, it's making progress higher. Because think about it, in order to stay above a line that's increasing, the price is going to, by definition, need to make higher lows. And assuming you're bullish, that's what you want to see. You want to see the price putting in those higher bases, and that's what that trend line will ensure. So from an overarching standpoint right now, support-wise, I think that's the best way to just gauge and measure, well, is the price making progress or not? If it stays above that green line, it is by definition making progress in the upwards direction. In terms of areas of resistance, very straightforward right now. Talked about this last week, but it's all about that purple line, which you now know is that 50 period moving average. And you can see right now this late afternoon, this moving average, kind of quote unquote move down on top of the price, and it's struggling. Not that the price can't break through it, but it makes sense why the price is struggling where it is. But if the price can push through it, then yes, next key overarching battleground will be the big brother of the 50 period up there. That 200 period moving average right now valued at 319. But yeah, no doubt about it. Nice start to the week. Now it's just a question of can the price continue to make progress as the week plays out. So certainly keep an eye on that trend line. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you are annoyed by that pattern day trading rule, or you just flat out want to be a day trader, be able to make as many trades as you want every single day, then this is certainly a solution for you. And like I said earlier, it is what I'm doing. So this is not in theory. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and this is the exact same thing that I am doing. So if you want to see how it all works, see it happen live, then like I said, I've been live streaming starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then usually I go for a few hours. So seriously, swing by, ask questions, or just kind of observe what's going on. And you'll notice that this market that I'm trading moves very, very quickly. So much so that it can make penny stocks, it can make micro-cap stocks look pretty slow, relatively speaking. So like I said, I understand you may be skeptical. So that's why I say swing by the live stream and check it out. Or just go to that link and learn a little bit more about it. And make sure you use code CLAY so you can take advantage of all the current promotions. So hopefully you decide to check it out and learn more. So thanks for watching. As always, if you appreciate these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Take care.